Hey Joe, hope you're doing well. I have the house. The house is quiet, so I thought I'd just go ahead and do another video here today. So this is Ghadban number 2, and I wanted to share this one with you because this is a very special instrument to me. Very, very special. Um, you would call this a subspecies of the oud. The Ghadban number 1, the one I call the princess. That's a Syrian oud, Syrian style, and that's the, you might call that the principal style of the Arabic oud. You also have the Egyptian style, which I talked about, and then you have this. This is what's called the BASHIR style oud. And to tell you just a little bit about this, all this information, I don't know how much you want to know, but I'm just going to tell you. In the 20th century, as recording technology began to be implemented all over the Middle East, there were a number of major instrumentalists that began to come up in the public sphere in all of the major countries: Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and then later Morocco, and so on. But in Iraq, there was a family of musicians by the last name of Bashir, and among them there were two brothers, Jamil Bashir and Munir Bashir, and they were innovators in Arabic music, performance, practice, and composition, and so on. Munir Bashir particularly. Munir Bashir was a virtuoso from a young age. He was a prodigy. And he set for himself the goal. I guess he wasn't much of a singer, but traditionally you play the oud in the Arabic world to accompany yourself in song, or you accompany a singer. That's the traditional role of the oud, and as a secondary role it has an instrumental use, but the most prestigious and important use is as accompanying the voice. But Munir Bashir, and he's coming up in the he's growing up in the 20s and 30s, 40s, and he said, I'm not a singer, I'm an awad, an oud performer, and I am going to make a name for myself on the oud. And what we're going to do is I am going to give concerts on the oud as a solo instrument, just like they do in Europe with the piano, with the violin, whatever the case may be. This is a solo instrument, and I'm going to play it as a solo instrument, not as an accompaniment to anything. And so that's what he did, and he had the technique and he had the determination to make that happen. He absolutely forged this new approach to the oud, and he was a force to be reckoned with in Iraq. Now he worked with a maker named Muhammad Fadl, and the story is that at one point his oud broke, and he rushed it to Muhammad Fadl so that Muhammad Fadl could repair it. There's some confusion about what exactly happened next, but what Muhammad Fadl wound up doing is putting a floating bridge on his oud, which previously had been a fixed bridge oud, like you've seen with my other instruments. And this changes the sound. Makes it much more punchy, much more trebly, and the sound is closer to a guitar sound. And this is what Munir Bashir wanted. He really liked that sound. And if you look at this instrument, you look at it. This also was Munir Bashir's idea, to simplify the oud, to make it take all the decoration away, and to change the look at it, to give it a modernist flair. This oud here, this is a Ghadban. This is a Ghadban Bashir style. This is my second oud that I bought from Nazi Ghadban. And any reputable maker today who makes ouds in the Arab world, they will feature a Bashir style oud. That's just something that they'll have on their product list, and you can get one. But this is a specifically Iraqi instrument. It's a specifically, it is a soloist's instrument. It is a modernist. It is a modernist approach to the oud. Now, among players, you have partisans, especially in America. I've met people that are just like, and oftentimes they're Americans, they're not even Arabs, and they're just like, oh, you won't catch me touching one of those Munir Bashir ouds, you know. It sounds like a guitar, and, you know, I don't want my ouds to sound like that. And then you'll have people, especially Iraqis, who are like, this is our oud, this is our tradition, this is the best oud, and we're going to champion it, and, you know, argue with me. I will prove you wrong. You know, that's kind of their attitude. My attitude is, for goodness sakes, why do we have to choose? Why on earth would we have to choose? The Syrian style, that's a great sound. The Egyptian style, that's a great sound. And this is a great sound, and you can have it all, you know, and you can play all of them, and you can have different sounds. I mean, speaking for myself, you know, it's like, you know, if you buy electric guitars, you can have a Les Paul, you can have a Strat, you can have an ESG, whatever you want to do, you know, and it's all good. So I love it. And actually, I want another one. I would like to have a 7-course of these someday to experiment with. But again, this was my second Ghadban that I bought. I felt like I was rolling the dice, and this one was cheaper than the other one. And it's much more basic. If you can see, you know, I got back in touch with Pierre, and I said, hey, can you talk to Nazi about a new oud? I saw one on his website. It looks really good. Pierre helped me out. He brought it back with him from Lebanon. And so it was Ghadban oud number 2, and it was just beautiful. I'm happy to say that this one is not nearly as beat up as the Princess. I call this one the Duchess because it's the second bit of royalty in the house, you know. And even this, you can see the way that he did these. You can see the way that he did these sound holes with the inlay. Even that is more than what Munir Bashir had on his original Bashir style oud. It was extremely plain. I mean, super modernist. You might almost call it a Bauhaus oud or something, you know. And that's the era too. You know, he was forging his thing in the 50s and then the 60s, and he lived all the way into the 90s. And he was an absolute virtuoso. You should, you know, if this interests you at all, look up Munir Bashir. You can see him play. One thing that Munir Bashir did in his music, and he was one of many Arab musicians and virtuosi that did this. He deliberately brought Western elements into his playing, combined them with Arabic music in a very interesting and compelling way. He would play Spanish guitar licks, you know, on the oud, and then he would mix it with Arabic maqamat, and very, very cool music. I think it's fantastic. Some people, depending on how partisan they are or how nationalistic they are, they will try to downplay Munir Bashir. But then the opposite is true too, you know, especially among Iraqi musicians. You know, and there's a lot of Iraqi musicians. Munir Bashir is, bam, he's the greatest. And I love his music. I love Munir Bashir's music. I love what he did with the oud. And I love the fact that I have this instrument that is an expression of his ideas. So this is the Bashir style oud, and I'm going to try to play something for you now. We'll see how this goes. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of his tunes, and this doesn't really do justice to who he is. It's a very simple little tune, but most of the time he didn't actually compose. Most of the time he played other people's music, or he improvised, you know. But I want to play one of his tunes so that you can kind of get a sense of that. Just a simple little tune, but it's a real Munir Bashir tune. So here we go. and BASHIR for you. So, me getting a hold of this and having, growing up Western background, European art, music, all that stuff, this is a natural, although I do it on both of them, but this is a natural vehicle for fusion from my perspective. So I've written quite a lot of fusion stuff on this instrument that blends the Eastern aesthetic with the Western aesthetic. I'm going to play one of those for you now. This is called Romanza, and this is supposed to evoke Spanish, medieval Spanish atmosphere. So here we go. Hope you like it. Okay, man. So, that's the BASHIR style oud. This is Ghadban oud number 2, what I call the Duchess, and it's a great instrument. And so, yeah, man. Let me know how you're doing, and hope to see you soon. All right, take care.